Good YouTube, Nolan 6 here with a Phantom Knight Orcust deck profile pre-Savage Strike. After Savage Strike, you can add Iblis in here. Then this is just a test. So the person who let me get this deck list would make a couple changes to run 2 more Sukunoko. Only Sukunoko because when you activate effect, she summons no matter what. She's a dark level 3, and that helps with some of the extra plays. So we got the 1 Armageddon Knight, 2 Dark Grepher, 1 Gloves, because you only need 1 Gloves. He decided to play 3 Cloak and 3 Silent Boots for the fact that you want to see them more than not. And there's ways to get them to the graveyard, and you're always banishing them. And they just help with the what's in the extra deck. 1 World Wand goes to graveyard with that. The Orcust monsters, they all banish to either summon from hand, summon from deck, or summon from graveyard. And then you can recycle them with this girl in the extra deck. That's it for the monsters. Then 3 Call the Haunted, 2 World Legacy. I like that choice. You want to see it. And then you have enough synergy where you typically don't open with 2 Babble, because if your opponent gets rid of the 1 Babble, it kind of just, and the fact that Babble turns all your orchestrated monsters into quick effects, to where you can use the effects on your turn or your opponent's turn. Some of the Link monsters have really devastating effects to the game state. Draw 2, draw 2. The allures are almost free if you banish the Orcust, for the fact that the Orcust have synergy of being banished and being returned to the deck. So, free draw 2, why not? Pot of Greed. Rhoda, Monster Reborn, 1 Ranko because of the extra deck. This card is still a card, and very easy to be summoned in this deck. 1 Fool's Burial, and then for the traps, 1 Brigade, 1 Sword, 2 Wings, and 3 Fogblades. The reason for this ratio is Fogblade really does stop some decks in their tracks, and not only that, but from the Knights, the Wings, and Fogblades, they are essentially Monster Reborns. He essentially has 16 Monster Reborns in this deck. His extra deck is simple: 1 Saruja, 1 Topological, 1 Barrel Load. Barrel Load is kind of crucial in this format because it can single-handedly break up boards and stall and stop opponents. Like, I hate to say it, but for me personally, this is the extra deck monster to have because of Altergeist. It just won YCS City, for Christ's sakes. 1 Orcustation, big bomb monster. And the thing about the Orcust is they don't need to be co-linked, they just need to be linked. So if they link with your opponent's monster, your monsters, then they get their effects. This one can drop monsters down to 0.
No effect either.
Oh yeah, no effects. Cuts their effects off. Let's see, this one lets you target 2 banished machine monsters, stuff them into the deck. Then you can send 1 link monster your opponent controls to the graveyard, so it sends it, so it protects against destruction effects. This literally lets you set your Orcust spells and traps from the deck. Easy to get to Babble, and then there's going to be a counter trap coming out in 2 sets that this will be able to set. And then, that's always great. Because you're playing the Phantom Knight, you got to play 1 of the Rusty. Underclock Taker is just too good. I mean, if you have Underclock Taker and this right here, yeah, you're just making your opponents all their 0 and just smacking them in the face real bad. Starving Venom, Fusion Dragon.
It's only because the extra deck is running.
He runs a copy of Super Poly in the side deck. I did want to mention that. 1 Dante, 2 Break Sword, and then that, because you go Break Sword with the Phantom Knights, and then this happens because you can easily banish Silent Boots to search the 1 copy of the Phantom Knights. So if that's where you're going at, you really shouldn't be worrying about milling it with good old Dante over here. And Dante's been dodging ban lists since its arrival in Duelist Alliance. So yeah, long live the Dante. So thanks to my buddy for letting me show off this deck. As we get Savage Strike and other stuff, and he updates the deck. I'm going to keep posting updates to the channel. So if you like this deck concept, remember to like, comment, subscribe. I'm the only one, Ant-Man 816. There's always a new to make. Until next time, YouTube, deuces.